Hello, and welcome to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet, the daughter.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Dad.
Yes, that's me, it's Kevin the dad. And Jules, what album have you picked for us this time?
Well, before we talk about that, I just want to address Peg. We did read your comments about the audio in our last video being very, very quiet. So we're doing something new with our microphone here. It should work, and if we're too loud, then let us know. But anyways, back to the album. Well, Dad, have you been reading the news lately?
You mean the news of the world?
Yeah, the news of the world. We're doing News of the World by Queen.
No, I haven't.
I could give you a good newsletter if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's read about this news of the world, shall we?
Okay, so first, for a biography of Queen, please see our A Day at the Races episode.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that great? We have so many episodes we've covered this band before, so it's like, you could go listen to that one.
And it saves me from doing more homework.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's 1977, and Queen are about to make their 6th album. But the musical landscape has changed.
Oh.
Punk is big in Britain, and it sparks a backlash against progressive rock bands like Queen.
Ooh.
According to Brian May, the band had already decided to simplify their sound after the 1-2 shot of A Night at the Opera and A Day at the Races. Whereas Races took 5 months to record, News of the World would only take 2.
Mm-hmm.
They recorded most of it at Wessex Studios. At the same time, the Sex Pistols were recording Never Mind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols.
That must have been interesting if they passed each other in the hallway.
They did have a few interactions, the most notorious being Sid Vicious asking Freddie Mercury, who once referred to Sid as Simon Ferocious, if the band succeeded in bringing ballet to the masses. Freddie, being Freddie, answered, "We're doing our best there."
Aw, it's like good elbow nudging.
And Johnny Rotten had wanted to meet Freddie, and the story goes that he crawled on all fours into Queen's studio, went up to Freddie, who was by a piano, said, "Hello, Freddie," and then just left.
That's creepy.
Yeah. And Brian said that he and Johnny actually had a few conversations about music.
That's nice, but what was Freddie's response to some dude just sneaking up on him like that?
Probably stepped on him. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have shot out of my chair and be like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So anyway, this time around, John Deacon and Roger Taylor, who usually wrote 1 song per album, this time around, they each wrote 2 songs for the album.
Oh. Okay.
Brian wrote 4, and Freddie wrote just 3, which was his lowest output on a Queen album so far. Now, Queen finished recording in September of 77, and the album came out the end of October the same year.
Okay.
The album made it to number 4 in the UK and number 3 on the Billboard 200 albums chart, and it wound up selling 4 million copies.
Oh, wow.
Now, the name of the album comes from the now defunct London tabloid News of the World, which ran from 1843 to 2011.
Wow.
The paper focused on scandals, gossip, lurid crimes, and sex. Lots and lots of sex. And the reason that they ended up closing down was due to a phone hacking scandal. It wasn't to a matter of circulation because it just sold insanely well in London. Apparently, it seemed like a daily version of the National Enquirer. Just lurid.
Man, they must have had a field day when Prince Charles was cheating on Princess Diana.
I'm sure they did.
Oh, man.
Now, about the cover to the album,
Yes.
Roger Taylor had an issue of Astonishing Stories from October of 1953, which had a painting of a giant robot holding the body of a dead man, and the caption read, "Please fix it, Daddy."
Oh, God.
Now, Frank Kelly Freyas had done the illustration, and the band contacted him about doing an altered version, which he did, replacing the single dead man with the 4 dead band members.
Oh, no.
With Roger and John falling to the ground.
Oh, that's who's falling. Okay.
Yeah, Roger being on the back cover, which unfortunately got left off the 1991 Hollywood Records remaster.
No.
I'm sure it's been fixed since then for the CD versions, but for the album versions, like, you were able to open it up and just see it as one big painting. Now, the inside gatefold has the robot reaching into the auditorium to grab fleeing audience members, and the robot's eyes in that picture are truly frightening.
Yeah, they are.
Now, Family Guy actually did an episode in which Stewie is frightened of the cover.
Really?
Yeah, because Seth MacFarlane said this was based on his own fear of the cover when he was a kid.
That's great. I've got to look up clips of this later after this is done recording.
Now, this other one I looked up, Marvel Comics did a tribute on the cover of X-Men Gold number 11 with a Sentinel robot holding Kitty Pryde and Logan in his hand while Colossus falls.
I like that. I want to see that too.
And they have the same type of font that's on the cover of News of the World, except it says X-Men and then it's their world.
Now, I was never scared of the cover as a kid, partly because I never really saw it, but even when I did see it, it was on my MP3, so it was really tiny and I couldn't see the robot's full face.
Yeah.
And even then I just like glanced at the cover and like now I'm just like, oh cool. You know, like I like the art style.
Yeah, like on the outside, the robot looks almost kind of like Help, but on the inside, it just has this look where it's like...
Kill,
kind of
kill.
like...
Did the cover scare you when you first saw it, or were you just like...
No,
oh.
I just thought, this is strange, and I thought, are they dead? Are they being injured? Because if you look at it, like the robot has blood on one of its fingers, and you look at Freddy's chest, and there's red on it. So I figured, poking at you, just making sure you're dead there.
Oh, God.
And, you know, it's kind of weird that he was the one.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Okay, so reviews were mixed, which kind of surprised me that there were any even positive reviews way back then.
Yeah.
And they were, but they were from mostly British publications. American ones? Nope.
We really didn't like them back then, did we?
No, that's the way it was. It was like if you were a Queen fan, then, you know.
You were like, you got the thing like you'd said in our last episode, oh, Queen is queer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oy.
And then it was one of these things where, like, you know, Freddie died, and then it was, gee, they weren't such a bad band after all. Well, thanks for noticing, you know, when it's too late. Anyway, not that I'm still bitter. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'd be bitter too, to be fair. I'm sure Freddie's still bitter and he's dead.
Now, I think the original CD versions of these albums came out sometime in the 80s where they just were like...
Yeah, cranking them out.
Just cranking them out. But I held out for the Hollywood Records remasters because I thought eventually someone's going along and fix these, which they did in 1991. And that's the remaster that I have. These albums have been remastered so many times since then, but I will never give up the 1991 remaster. And the reason will be made clear when we get to the songs. Now, like I said, it's been remastered a lot of times since then on different labels. And a 40th anniversary 3-disc set came out in 2017. And let's go into the songs now, shall we?
All right, let's do it. All right, first one, the obvious one, We Will Rock You, which is also the title of the Queen musical, but that musical sucks. And if you want to hear a good dissection, and if you want to hear a good review of that, I highly recommend you listening to the Musicals with Cheese podcast where they tear We Will Rock You to shreds.
Now, is it one of these where they try to come up with some sort of like bare bones story to hold all the songs together, or it's just, we're just going to sing all these songs?
It's a bit of both. Basically, in that plot, it's like they live in a dystopian future where rock music is illegal. It's bad. Anyway, all right, We Will Rock You. What do you expect me to say? The song sucks? No, the song rules and it slaps. I mean, every time you hear this at a
slaps?
Yeah, it slaps.
What does that mean?
It means the music slaps.
What does that mean? Is it like slap you upside the head?
No,
slap
it's just
you
like,
so hard that your mother feels it?
Look it up on Urban Dictionary later. You'll find out what I mean.
Oh, God.
It's just part of the vernacular. Anyway, you need to keep up with what the kids are saying these days. Anyway, every time you hear this song at a sports game, the crowd automatically goes... And everyone is just so pumped against beating the other team. The energy is infectious. I love how this song is Freddie just yelling at some Chad, which is slang for an alpha male, who talks the talk but can't walk the walk. And when the Chad meets people who actually can walk the walk, he is screwed because they will put him back into his place. As for the music, I think I really like listening to this song better with headphones because the We Will Rock You just completely surrounds your ears and it sounds like this awesome, angry choir. And then that chord starts playing and crescendos and you're thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen now? And then you get all excited. And Brian comes in with the guitar solo and everyone starts jamming. But I have to say, when I was little though, I didn't like the guitar solo and I would always stop the song just before it kicked in.
Really?
Because I didn't like how the solo stopped the singing. I thought it seemed out of place in a song that's centered on the voice and percussion, but hey, I like it now. And no one is above liking this song because I remember... when Bohemian Rhapsody was up for Best Picture at the Oscars, they opened it that year with Queen performing this song with Adam Lambert, and the whole crowd went nuts. I mean, if you don't like this song, you gotta be dead.
Well, it was written by Brian, and he said he wanted something simple and anthemic so the audience could be more involved in the show.
Yes, they could perform
Like
to
you
it.
said, stomp, stomp, clap. Hey, he succeeded on that. And, like you said, any sporting event you go to, at some point, this song will be played.
Yes.
So at the end of life, as we know it, there will only be a few things left.
Okay.
There'll be the song Celebrate by Kool and the Gang,
Uh-huh.
We Will Rock You,
Uh-huh.
The Cockroaches, and Keith Richards.
And Cool Whip.
And Cool Whip.
Yes.
That's an interesting combination. So, Keith, you can put some Cool Whip on those cockroaches, make them a little more edible.
Oh, God. I want to see Keith talking to the cockroaches completely out of his mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now everyone knows the chorus, but does anyone bother with the verses?
Yeah, that's why I pointed it out. Like, they're putting this Chad in his place.
Now, is a Chad like a Karen?
A Chad, as I said earlier, is a slang for the alpha male. Like big, burly, strong men, college trust fund jock.
Okay, well, I kind of look at it as like we follow Buddy through 3 stages of his life. The brat, the angry young man, and then the pathetic old man. And he's a disgrace at each stage. At the end...
Keep going. I had a thought, but keep going.
Okay.
Hold on to it.
And at the end, Freddie sings, "Somebody gonna put you back in your place." And that somebody is your favorite sports team.
Yay!
Now, the thing is, Brian wrote it, but Freddie sings it because his voice is perfect for that subject matter. Brian has never sounded loud at all. He's got a good voice, but
It's melodic.
he's never, ever been like a shouter.
He's not like, ah! Yeah.
But for that last 30 seconds of the song, he lets his guitar do the talking.
He owns it, yeah. And I just had a realization, so get to the note that I just came up with.
Okay.
The Chad that they're singing about in this song reminds me of, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen season 4 of The Good Place, turn away now. Reminds me of that guy that they keep trying to get through and trying to get through, and he doesn't get redeemed until the very end.
Yes.
I can't remember his name, but if you've seen The Good Place, then you know who I'm talking about.
It wasn't Brad, was it?
It might have been Brad. I started with a B, but yeah, that dude with the brown hair who just didn't get why everyone hated him because he was an asshole.
Well, it could have been Brad.
Could've been
Well,
Brad.
that just means we'll have to watch the whole series again.
Oh boy!
Okay.
All right, next song.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy, George. All right, next question. Next question. Jeez.
Next question? What's the next song, Jules?
I'll take We Are the Champions for $200, Alex. All right, so We Are the Champions. I hate to say this, but in my experience, people look at this song as kind of corny. Like, if you sing it, they'll jokingly sway side to side. I remember one time on American Idol, some guy auditioned with this song, and Simon Cowell goes, "I bet you sing this at karaoke bars," and it wasn't a compliment. And my response to that, screw you guys, it's a great song. However, I'm gonna add a caveat. If you sing this song, you really need to be able to connect with it. You need to have faced some sort of adversity in your life that you overcame. And think about who's singing it. I mean, Freddie had people calling him Paki all his life, even though he was from Zanzibar and his family wasn't from Pakistan. Kids teased him for his teeth when he was little, and he really had to grapple with his sexuality. But he reached God tier, so who's laughing now? And I'm going to sidetrack to one of my favorite stories about Freddie. So once, Queen was playing during a concert, and somebody yelled a gay slur at Freddie from the audience. His response? Freddie stopped the band, had the lighting guy shine a spotlight on the person in the crowd, extended the mic and went, "Say it again, darling." So yeah, great song. And with Freddie singing it, it hits home. Especially with how he sings, "You brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all." Oh, you're welcome.
Now, I'm going to sidetrack for a second because I have
Okay.
another Sex Pistols story. When you had talked about Freddie, the kids were making fun of his teeth.
Yeah, well, like when he
Yeah,
was a kid, he
'cause-
got bullied for his teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was there was an incident that involved Queen and the Sex Pistols, but they didn't meet. What was supposed to happen was Queen was supposed to go on this British show called The Today Show. They had their own version out there, I guess.
Oh yeah, they do. They still have it now.
And Queen was scheduled to appear, and what happened was they couldn't go on because Freddie had a toothache that was killing him so much that he went to the dentist for the first time in 15 years.
Ah, oh yeah, he didn't want anyone interfering with his mouth because it would sacrifice his voice. But yeah, that sounds bad.
So anyway, what happened was, I guess the producers were like, well, we got to get someone on to take their place. What do we do? Hey, let's book the Sex Pistols. So the Sex Pistols come on, and that's when they dropped the F-bomb on live TV and just became notorious and that sort of thing.
How did Freddie's toothache come out? I'm assuming he was fine.
Yeah, I guess it did.
And as far as we know, his voice didn't suffer
No,
from any
no.
dental surgery. So he was okay.
Now, Freddie wrote this song in 1975, and it made it when it finally came out, it made it to number 4 in the U.S. in tandem with "We Will Rock You." And for me, like being a kid, when I heard "We Will Rock You," it always went into "We Are the Champions."
Yeah, that's how
And
it
so
goes
it's
in
like,
here.
yeah, so it's always like you can't separate these songs.
No.
You just can't, and you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's like you play "We Will Rock You" at the beginning of the game, and if you win, play "We Are the Champions"
Yes,
at the end of the game.
it's also sung at sporting events when your favorite team wins it all.
But what happens when they lose?
Then we aren't the champions.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. You don't sing because losers don't get to sing.
No.
Singing is for winners.
Or if you're the Yankees, they play Liza Minnelli singing New York, New York instead of Frank because everyone hates Liza so much, apparently.
Either that or her version's like slower and sadder.
Well, I haven't seen her singing in the movie, so I'm sure it makes a lot more. If she's singing sadder, maybe it makes sense in the context of the movie.
And yeah, like you're right. Freddie sings about, going through a bunch of trials, but coming out on top. And I think some of those trials he's referring to are probably critics slagging the band. Like, yeah, you call us this and that, but hey, we're still on top. We are still the champions.
Have you seen how they sold out Wembley?
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
Now, one of my favorite moments regarding this song is when Homer sings it on The Simpsons when he caught the legendary General Sherman, a 500-pound catfish. And this was the episode, I think from maybe the first or second season, The War of the Simpsons, where...
Oh, when they went to counseling?
Yeah, because Homer got drunk at the party at Flanders' house, even though from his perspective, he thought he was at the Algonquin table and just making with the witty remarks. Yeah, so they end up going there, and at one point, Homer stops in this general store to pick up some stuff, and he hears like the old timers talking about the General Sherman, and they're saying, oh, he's 100 years old if he's a day, and he's like this 500-pound fish, and no one's ever caught him. And so Homer decides he's going to get up really early one of the mornings for during the marriage retreat, catch the fish, be back in time, everything's fine.
Of course that doesn't happen.
No, of course that doesn't happen because they do the... when Homer takes off at the marriage counseling retreat, they do the falling back and your partner will catch you kind of thing.
Yeah, trustful exercise.
Yeah, trustful exercise. So everyone does it, and Marge is just standing there, and Reverend Lovejoy says, even if Homer was here, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
And it ends up with Homer's rowing back to the dock, and he's singing, I am the champion of the world. And who's waiting for him at the dock?
Marge.
But Marge. Got the arms crossed and is almost off in Patty and Selma Lane.
Yeah.
And so Homer realizes he has to choose between the fish and Marge.
And he lets Sherman go?
He lets Sherman go, and of course he chooses Marge, and the fish swims away. But Homer just adds to the legend because the old timers at the store talk about, this man who had this flowing red hair, and he was like a god, and he caught the general, but he let it go. And the way the episode ends drove Matt Groening nuts. He thought it should have been cut. Because the way the episode ends is the General Sherman swims up to the camera and winks at the audience and then swims away. Groening thought that was a little too cartoony.
Oh, okay.
Like the General Sherman realizes it all worked out after all, and I'm a fish. What do I know?
Anyway, back to the album. Next song, but that was fun. All right, Sheer Heart Attack. When Freddie sings "Well, You're Just 17," I was thinking, is he gonna follow it up with? And he does. You know what I mean? Because apparently no rocker can rhyme the word 17 with anything else, like between or obscene.
Oh, I mean, it's a definite nod to I Saw Her Standing There.
Yeah, I know, it is, but I just wish that rockers would rhyme the word 17 with something else, because Paul McCartney's like, oh, I can't think of a word that rhymes with 17. I'm like, obscene, in between, there's a lot of other words.
Well, at the time it was thought of like, he couldn't think of something and came up with, well, you know what I mean, which kind of opened up everyone's interpretation of, oh, what does that mean when she's 17?
Yeah, and people nowadays are like, ooh, what are you talking about, Paul? Anyway, so this song hits a little too close to home for me because it reminds me of like starting high school at like 13, 14 years old, and the hormones, no, I was 14 years old. So starting high school at 14 years old, and the hormones are raging, and you don't know what's going on, and feeling so rotten inside, wondering what the hell was wrong with me. I mean, I know now that nothing was wrong with me, but when those changes are going on, it's really fucking scary. I love the studio distortions on the words sheer heart attack, and the cacophony of sound is well put together with the drums and that weird chirping noise. This is Queen deciding to go a little more hardcore, but I don't think I'd listen to it all the time. It's good, but it might give me a sheer anxiety attack because I was feeling pretty uncomfortable. I was like, my teeth were on edge.
Well, this was written by Roger and also sung by Roger. Freddie helps out on the background vocals.
Oh, I thought it was Freddie.
No, like when I was doing some research on Wikipedia, they said that Freddie was on lead vocals. No, that is Roger singing that song.
It doesn't sound like him, though.
That doesn't sound like Freddie in the least.
To me, it sounds like Freddie. And I think I saw Freddie perform it live one time on YouTube. Dad's stunned. He's stupefied.
No, that can't be.
We gotta find this out later. We'll figure it out.
Wait a minute. That seems... Well, you're just... His voice is usually higher. It does not sound like that.
Freddie has a bit of a lower range. We'll figure it out later. Anyway, go back to the notes.
I cannot accept that.
No. Does anybody know the answer to who really sang it? Please clear up our confusion. Dad cannot move on with the episode until he figures this out. Do you want me to Google it while you talk?
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do it.
All right, I'll put in my 2 cents.
Okay.
Yeah, well, basically, the way the song's done is like Queen shows the punks how it's done. It's like punky as all get out, but with classic Queen harmonies. And I love the image of the TV dripping right down into your eyes. And Roger plays almost everything in this song. Brian pitches in on guitar. Freddie's on background vocals, definitely. Mm-hmm. And John does not play on this song. Mm-hmm. And yeah, when you're talking about, I saw her standing there, or you're just 17, all you want to do is disappear, you know what I mean? There's a lot of space between your ears, which I think captures the frustration of being a teen perfectly.
Oh, absolutely, it does. Okay, so I'm going through Google right now. So it's like, who sang Sheer Heart Attack? And they go, Queen. I'm like, I know, which member? Okay, so you found the answer on Wikipedia, right?
Well, yeah, in the News of the World, an article on the News of the World album, it said that it was Freddie singing lead, and I thought, no, because it said that, when it first came out, Roger sang it originally when he wrote it.
So it doesn't say on the Wikipedia page who sings it. No, on Wikipedia it says Freddie Mercury is lead and backing vocals. And Roger is also lead and backing vocals. So maybe they
Unless they're
flipped it
singing
back
it
and
together.
forth. Maybe, that's possible. It's a duet where they alternate on the lyrics.
I still don't hear it. I still don't hear it. I mean, I can hear it in the background harmonies, definitely. But to me, that's Roger.
And to me, it sounds like Freddie. This is going to be like the Yanny and Laurel debate.
Who?
Okay, so there was this trend on YouTube where there was a person saying a word, and half of people heard the voice saying the word Yanny. The other half of people heard the voice saying Laurel. And it was some sort of way they explained how there was the slight differences in people's brains had you hear the sound differently. So maybe this is our Yanny and Laurel. You say, I hear Roger, and I go, I hear Freddie.
Okay, listeners out there, who do you hear?
Yeah, who do you hear? We'd love to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Next song.
All dead.
All dead.
That's it. They're all dead. And
There were these kids, and they were fooling around, and then they were all dead.
Can you explain the context of that for our listeners who don't know the story? Just real quick.
Oh, driver's training class, one of the teachers talked about these kids. There were these kids, and they were fooling around, and then they were dead. But he didn't specify if they were driving or if they just happened to be crossing the street and they got ran over by a car.
And that was at Labonte's, wasn't it?
No, this is at when they used to have driver's training at the high school.
Oh, okay. Well, they still do, but it's just for like the permit test. They don't have like the actual driver like training going on in the high school parking lot anymore.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, all dead. All dead. That's it. All right. So with all dead, there's a smooth yet abrupt transition from sheer heart attack to all dead, and it makes you think, yo, did Freddie's character from the previous song just die? The title of this song also hits...
Roger's character?
Whoever we hear. The title of this song also hits a little too close to home in the time of COVID and the death toll hitting 200,000. But in this song, Brian's dreams are dead along with his girl, and it's very sad. the very English lyrics and the way the song starts with just the voices and a piano reminds me of a song you'd hear in like an English minstrel song in a Robin Hood movie or a period piece like Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet. Yet I feel like the tone of this song gets thrown off by the drums and the guitar. When the drums come in, they're trying to get people to sway to the beat, and it doesn't work because I'm too sad to want to groove with the music. I also think the guitar has too much of this buzzing noise to it, and it just sounds like musical wasps. I think the song could have been a lot more impactful if it was just Brian's mournful singing that took center stage, but alas, the hopes for that too are long dead and gone.
He's still alive.
I mean, the hopes for me hearing this song just being his singing are dead and gone. I don't mean Brian's dead. My dreams for this song are dead.
Well, if he's out there listening to this podcast, maybe he'll take it under consideration.
Yeah, right.
When he's not too busy with his astrophysics.
Yeah, he's too loaded to care.
That's true. Okay, yeah, written by Brian. He plays piano on it, too. And I've always thought this was like a great funeral song.
Oh, that's sad.
Well, no, it's kind of like one of those things, funeral playlist,
Yeah.
When you die, what are the songs that you want played at your funeral?
I've actually thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
I think everyone has.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This, I would have picked one of these until I found out he wrote this about his cat who died when he was a kid.
Oh,
I knew you were going to say
that makes it so kind of cute then. Oh.
And the funny thing is, there's a prelude in the lyrics, on the lyric sheet that are not sung in the song. Mm-hmm. And it's memories, my memories. How long can you stay to haunt my days? You know what? That must have been some cat.
What is it with members of Queen writing songs about their cats? You have Brian writing All Dead, and you have Freddie writing Delilah, but it's more obvious that that's a cat because he sings, and you make me slightly mad when you pee on my Chippendale sweet. That's an actual lyric in the song. And Brian May has the guitar sounding like a meowing cat. It's really cute.
Uh-huh. But, I never noticed it before, what you said about, about the drums and the guitar solo. It's never bothered me, and it probably never will. But when you say that you find the guitar distorting, do you mean the solo that he does in the middle?
Yeah, that one.
Huh. I've never... Okay, I'm running it through my head now. I can kind of see it.
I mean, on headphones, it's right there and you can't escape it. Maybe if you're playing it on speakers, it's like you can kind of tune it out, but it just, there's, the way that they distort it, it just sounds uncomfortable to listen to, at least to me.
Well, it also probably depends how high you've got the headphones cranked.
That's true.
Yeah, now that you put it, it is kind of weird to have it as like one of these songs that you're going to sway to. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to sway to this, though. I'm just too sad.
Yeah, I can kind of...
It's like this video, this video by ProZD where he does this video where it's like when the music is more... when the music is hype, but you're not in the mood for it, and it's like he's sitting there and he's really sad, and this like peppy pop Japanese song comes on, and he's like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. And then he just dances in his seat, but his face is just still sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a tough song to dance to, subject matter-wise, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next song. All right, Spread Your Wings. Okay, maybe I'm nuts.
You're nuts.
Okay, but this is like if someone made a rock song...
Go ahead.
With the same sort of story as Death of a Salesman. Can you see it? Yeah. Guy wants more from life, has all these great dreams in his head, but he still keeps getting kicked down and it doesn't end well. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Okay. Except this time...
Willie Loman was low.
Was low, yeah. Low man.
Just
low
trying
man.
to sell his stuff.
Yep. And then he... Oh, man. I remember the biggest plot twist when I read that play was like, what the fuck? He had a mistress the whole time? What? Okay. A spoiler alert if you haven't read the classic Arthur Miller play, but it's been out for decades, so...
Next time, put the spoiler alert before you actually spoil.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The Good Place is more recent, but it's like Death of a Salesman has been out since, what the
40s? 50s, 40s?
Yeah, so it's like...
If you don't know it by now...
Yeah, it's like a 50-year-old spoiler, 50, 60-year-old spoiler at this point, 70-year-old spoiler at this point. Anyway, Except this time I wasn't invested in the story as I was when I read Arthur Miller's play. And I think this song is kind of not corny, but empty. There's nothing to it. And I'm sorry, but when I see Spread Your Wings and Fly, all I can think of is little Sebastian up in horsey heaven. And this might be insulting, but I'd rather listen to 5,000 Candles in the Wind than this song. Because at least I'm invested in little Sebastian's death, whereas I don't know too much about Sammy to really feel for him. It doesn't hit home enough for me to want to turn on my phone flashlight and sway from side to side. Bye, bye, little Sebastian. I miss you in the saddest fashion. You're 5,000 candles in the wind.
Okay. Now, this was written by John, but sung by Freddie because, remember, John
doesn't sing.
Doesn't. Never
Silent
has.
but deadly.
Never has. Never will.
I've heard him talk, though.
So he's like the fraud of the band? Is that what you're saying? Silent but deadly?
Maybe. Hey, oh God, I just thought of something. I'm going to say it.
Say it. This is my daughter, folks.
Some farts smell good.
That would be your own.
Fucking kill me. Oh, God. That's it. This is the episode that broke me.
I guess it is.
Oh, God. Keep going, Dad. You've got notes on this. Make me stop talking.
I feel like Yakko. That's all for tonight, folks.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay. Where was I? Now, did you notice about this song? There's no Queen harmonies. It's just Freddie. It's just Freddie singing.
Well, they've had a couple of those songs before, right? Or it's just Freddie and no harmonies. It's just one of them and no harmonies.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back through and listen very closely
But
now.
it's still an anomaly.
That struck me, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's an anomaly that happens again on this album.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we'll get to it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sammy just cannot be happy sweeping up that bar. But he seems to be afraid to get it in gear and escape.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, on one hand, Freddie's, like, in the back, like, hey, spread your wings, guy. You can do this. But then on the other hand, it's kind of like, when I listened to it for the podcast, it kind of seemed to me that Freddie seems to be embodying both sides of the issue in Sammy's mind. It's kind of like, you know, why can't you be happy sweeping up the Emerald Bar, be happy with what you've got, but then on the other hand, get the hell out while you're still young.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the thing with me, maybe I'm being too practical or too old farty or just something. It's like, you know, with being in the society in which we live in, given my extra preposition, in a McCartney-esque way, being in a capitalist society, it's tough because on one hand, you need money to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to still need that money if you're just going to up and leave everything behind.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a plan.
But you're screwed either way.
I guess you kind of are. It's kind of like you have to realize that you're going to have to sacrifice a lot to be able to up and leave. And if you're fine with that, do it. More power to you. Because...
Come to the socialism side. The
other thing is being rich would help out, or having a trust fund. Hi, evil Mitch.
Oh, God. I'm going to send this dude. He's going to get so fucking pissed.
Does he know that he's called Evil Mitch?
Oh, shit.
Because I just said hi, Evil Mitch.
Oh, God.
So you can't.
Mitch, the reason I called you that is because I have two friends and my parents know about both of you, so they call you the evil one. I didn't start it.
I'm sure you're a nice kid, though. But then the other thing is, but if you are rich, why are you working at the Emerald Bar in the first place?
I don't know.
Maybe to see how the other half lives.
Well, it kind of reminds me, if you put it that way, it reminds me of this show, Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
Where they go and see how their employees are being treated.
Yeah.
I don't know. Capitalism is just so damn exploitive, man.
Well, the other thing is, maybe it's just as easy as, hey, you don't have to work at the Emerald Bar. See that bar across the street called Cheers? Maybe you'll be happier there.
Yeah, you can cut lines.
Maybe not. But yeah, it's a tough situation because it's so easy to like sing a song about it, or I'm just going to up and leave everything. But when you take in the reality of like what's really involved. You really got to think it through. And like I said, if you can do it and you're willing to make those sacrifices,
But
good
also
for you.
at the same
Because
time,
you really don't want to be stuck at the Emerald Bar. Or maybe
No,
it's a
I
thing of
know.
like working your way up, like working your way out of this situation.
but in my opinion, and I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but in my opinion, there should be safety nets for people just to like. I gotta figure out a way to word this. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, I gotta think.
Like,
Okay.
is it like if you want to go out and try crazy stuff, at least you know you can come home to me and your mom?
Yeah, but at least in the interim, if you're working for something better, there should be some sort of safety net to at least give you enough of the bare necessities to get by. At least have enough, like, have some sort of social setup where it's like, kind of like Andrew Yang's universal basic income, where you get $1,000 a month.
Oh, hell, I'd love that, but it's kind of like the way things are now. You've got
No, I know
you
at
got to
this
work for
point,
it.
but also at this point, it's like $1,000 a month still isn't enough money. It's kind of
No.
like sticking a band-aid on a gunshot wound at this point. As Mitch is fond of saying, it's like Andrew Yang is just neoliberalism 2.0. It's not going to solve anything. It's just still working within the system while making things just a little bit better, but not enough.
Well, and the other thing is, where's that $1,000 coming from?
Taxes.
Which we pay in the first place. So
Yeah.
it's almost kind of like we'd be paying ourselves back.
Yeah, paying ourselves back, and the rich need to pay more, in my opinion.
It's a tough situation, but I guess the thing is, it's like, the best time to do it is when you're young. If you're gonna make an attempt like that, just
Yeah,
balls to the wall, go for it.
yeah. If you have the means, but if you don't, at least look for people who will help you get the means to go there.
I guess your mom and I will help up to a certain point.
Yeah, I'm not living here until I'm 40.
Oh God, no.
No, all
I was
right.
kind of hoping more like 30. Bye-bye.
Yeah, all right.
See what you can do about that.
Next song. Well, I gotta find somebody to live in an apartment with. I mean, if Tyler and I still do the plan where we rent a house together, but we'll see what happens. All right, next song. Sorry, everyone, I have something in my eye. All right,
That would be your finger. Oh,
No, but I have
gross,
something in my eye.
gross. She's like doing the wide eye thing, and I can see it. And it's
No, I'm sorry. I had like dust in my eye or something. Something flew in my eye. I'm okay now. All right. Fight from the inside. So as soon as I heard the music with the funky undertones, I thought, oh, Roger is so going to sing this song. And I was right. This song feels like Roger's version of We Will Rock You, which makes me wonder, what would it have sounded like if he sang We Will Rock You? Because I think he could do it.
Oh yeah, he could. He could pull it off.
Yeah. And in this song, he shows he can scream, and we all know his range can go incredibly high because of Bohemian Rhapsody. So I don't have too much to say about this song other than I want to hear Roger sing We Will Rock You. I think that could have been cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard this song. You know, it's funny that you mentioned, like, what'd you call it, a funky beat? I've heard this song described as disco, and
I don't think so.
I mean, I guess it is, but if it is, it's plotting disco. And I don't mean that as an insult. It's kind of like, it's got that 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's slowed down the BPMs, which is beats per minute.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of disco, I think of like the Bee Gees or Nile Rodgers with Le Freak. You know what I mean?
And yeah, it's written and sung by Roger. And it sounds to me like he's singing it to this teen idol because he sings about you're just another picture on a teenage wall. And it's kind of like whoever this person is, they're removed from reality and they think that like everything out in the streets is all free. But no, it's not. But it's like if you want to change, you're going to have to start from inside yourself. Like, and maybe fighting those forces around you that are keeping you as part of the machine, if that makes sense. Like you've got to, like fighting from the inside. It's almost like you've got to wake yourself up to what's going on around you and what's like holding you in the gerbil wheel, I guess, for lack of a better
Term?
Yeah, like a better term. Oh, what's holding you in place? Like you've got to be aware of what's going on. That like you think you've got it made. Well, if you look deep down, no, you really don't. You're just being played. You're just being used like a puppet.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
The next
All
one?
right. Are we ready? Now that's the end of side 1. This song starts off side 2.
And it is called Get Down, Make Love.
Giggity giggity.
Giggity goo.
Oh yeah, there's goo everywhere with this
Oh
song.
God, yep. All right. So I have come to the conclusion, as if it wasn't obvious enough from his personality, but I'm gonna say it because everybody knows it. Freddie Mercury was nobody's bottom bitch. This song exudes top energy, okay? Because Freddie wants to get down and dirty right in the thick of it. And he's not holding back either with him giving that meat, sucking mine, and blowing head. Mamma mia. Like, he's so sexually frustrated and desperate, he's practically seething. And when he keeps saying, get down, get down, get down.
If this was a Batman episode with the sound effects, the sound effect for this one would be splorch.
I was thinking sploosh. But yeah, same. Okay. But
I'll
anyway,
allow it.
when Freddie keeps saying, get down, get down, get down, it's like an order, like, get on your knees. I can see him sexually teasing or torturing someone while singing this song, just like kind of circling them with some sort of leather involved. And although I probably would not be Freddie's type, I kind of wish there was a steamy music video for this so I could kind of get a peek behind the curtain. I'm not a voyeur. I'm just curious as to what that music video would look like with Freddie all in leather and probably like holding some sort of like, I don't know, riding crop or cuffs in his hands probably.
Okay, see this red ball, darling? Just put it in your mouth.
Oh, God.
Everything will be fine.
Close your eyes and think of England. All right.
It's like that episode of Coupling with Jeff.
Oh, Mr. Leatherhead. Which, if you haven't seen, is hilarious, where he swallows the key to the cuffs. All right. As for the sex noises, they're okay. Like, they don't make you uncomfortable because, like, you're going to expect that in the song. But that little laugh noise just sounds psychotic.
Oh,
yeah. But one little detail I love is, you always see this in the songs, but it's just something simple. Freddie's voice goes high when he sings the word high, and his voice comes down when he sings about coming down, because I like it when music is consistent with lyrics like that. Okay, Dad, I asked you if there was some ruckus with this song, so let the wild rumpus start. What happened?
oh, the flack on this one when this came out.
Oh.
Now, I think it was Dear Ann who got her panties in a bind about this song.
Who's Dear Ann? Was she an advice columnist?
She was an advice columnist.
Oh, like Dear Abby.
Yeah, they were sisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you had Ann Landers and Abigail Van Buren.
Okay.
Even though those weren't their real names, those were their pen names. Anyway,
someone was a history buff with the Abigail Van Buren.
I guess. Yeah, so she got her panties in the bind about this song being about gay sex.
Oh my God!
Because you got to realize this was 1977.
Nobody talked about it. Yeah.
And no pun intended, but the gays were just starting to come out.
No, yeah.
Like, you had, like, the Village People.
Yeah.
And, like, wow, these guys are dressing up in these crazy uniforms. And you realized, oh.
But also, this is like when.
These are the stereotypes that they're flaunting.
Well, the gay rights movement was also starting to get into full force. Like, I mean, it exploded with the Stonewall riots in the 60s, but, the Stonewall protests, I should say. But, you know, you had, like, organizations starting to come out, like Gay Men's Health Crisis and people protesting in Washington and all of that sort of stuff. So it was very much coming, like, onto, like, the mainstream scene.
Yeah.
For everybody to see on their TV.
Now, the thing is, like, that's how I sort of remember it when the song came out. Now, if there's anyone out there who can back up or refute my memory, it'd be appreciated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nana didn't catch you listening to this, did she?
I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of what your grandpa would have said.
Well, we had the stereo set up in the basement, so anytime Uncle Joe and I wanted to listen to something, we had to go into the basement. We had, Nan and Grandpa had all this stereo equipment upstairs. You kids want to listen to something? You go in the basement. And we had this old Panasonic 3-in-1 piece of stereo equipment. It was the AM/FM tuner, turntable, and cassette deck all built into the same piece.
I think I've seen that downstairs at Nana's house before. I'm not sure if
I
it's
think
still
we
there.
finally might have gotten rid of it when Uncle Michael and I brought the separate components, which I still have to this day.
Yeah.
And those things are over 40 years old, and they still
Sound
work.
good.
Oh my
Nice.
God, those things are irreplaceable.
But
Anyway, fascinating arrangement, this. I mean, the way it starts off with the bass, there's a feeling that this is not going to be
Cute.
pleasant.
Precious.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Something is going to happen.
Yeah, someone's going to blow their back.
Yeah, I mean,
What? I showed you the Darth Vader choking meme. And Luke goes, harder, Daddy. What? Oh, God. This is the episode that broke the both of us, people. I broke. Now it's Dad's turn.
I mean, even the chorus suggests that, it could be lousy timing on Freddy's part, because it's like, every time I get hot, you want to cool down. Every time I get high, you want to come down.
That part I was worried about.
You say it's too much. In fact, you say it's enough. In fact, it's just too much. So
sexual incompatibility. Well, maybe because I've heard, I remember, I would do some readings about intimacy and relationships, and one thing that couples often do. Well, I can't speak for it, but from reading, the suggestion from couples was, if you feel like your sex life is dying down, try spicing it up with something unorthodox that maybe you've never tried before, but maybe you've always wanted to. Just check with your partner to make sure it's okay, but maybe that'll give your sex life the jolt that it needs if things are kind of not really clicking at the moment.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. I would like to introduce this Darth Vader glove into the relationship.
That makes me think of Who's line. Bad songs to sing during sex. But it's not about that type of glove. I've got my rubber glove. It's time to think of love. And Drew Carey with the buzzer. Okay, Colin.
Anyway, so, whether it's gay or straight sex, this captures the intensity.
Yeah.
Especially that instrumental break. And that...
Keep going, I have a thought. Keep going.
And that's all Brian on guitar making those effects. It's not a synthesizer or a keyboard.
What about the laugh?
I'm sure that was filtered through a microphone somehow. But yeah, that's kind of like, hey, what's the Joker doing here? Kind of thing.
Ugh.
Yeah.
This song, though, it makes me think of this quotation where it's there was a review of the 50 Shades Darker movie, and they were using bondage ropes, and people were like, this is really tame. And somebody said, if you're going to do bondage in a movie and make it hardcore, I want it to be fucking Spider-Man got involved. And I'm like, that's what this song is. This song is, just all the ropes. It's like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man showed up and splayed you out. Oh, God.
He's catching something else just like flies, apparently.
Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, this song is just, it will definitely stop you in your tracks.
Yeah. If Freddie started singing this song to me, I wouldn't know whether to run away or stay. He probably wouldn't sing it to me, but, if he did sing it to someone, I think it'd be like that meme with Bill Hader. Well, mark me down as scared and horny.
Anyway.
Next song,
please. Let's move it along. No
right.
Bad gravy in this case.
Ugh. All right.
Or
No.
No, because I can't think of what it is.
Good, let's not. All right, next song, Sleeping on the Sidewalk. So Sleeping on the Sidewalk sounds like it could have come out in the 50s or 60s, like a blues song or an R&B song, and I'm pretty sure that's what Brian was going for when he wrote it.
Yeah.
Another song about the fleetingness of success. The part that makes me laugh is when Brian says he told them where to stick that label. I can imagine the character in the song repeating that line at a bar drunk off his ass.
Because he wasn't so fashionable.
Yeah. But you get the feeling, even though he's back at bottom, he'll be okay. He's been there before, he knows how to survive, and he'll probably find a way out. The tone of the song is, I had fun, it was good while it lasted, but I don't regret it. I don't regret an ending when it did. And I think he might have felt that briefly when he left rock and roll to get his doctorate, because it's Dr. Brian May to you, pal.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Brian May, FUD.
Yes.
That's how I say PhD.
PhD. Also stands for piled higher and deeper.
Oh, God.
Like bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we? Yeah, Sleeping on the Sidewalk. Pleasant Blues number written by Brian. But the thing I've always wanted to know, Dr. May, is why a trumpet? Why not a guitar? That's the instrument you're known for. Is this supposed to be the Miles Davis story? Because who else is going to be a legend through the land blowing to 1 million fans? Because let's face it, if you're blowing a trumpet in front of 1 million fans, you're probably at the Jazz Festival in Newport, or maybe the one in Canada, the Montreal Jazz Festival.
I'll ask Jaden later.
Because it's not trumpet is definitely not a rock and roll type of thing. Either that, or maybe this is Herb Alpert.
Or maybe it's a fucking ska band.
No, see, the thing with ska bands is there are more members in the ska band than there are more audience members. Mm-hmm. Always.
Emo. The world is broken and I'm sad. Goth. The world is broken, but there's beauty in the dark parts. Punk. The world is broken and I'm mad as hell. I'm gonna fight to fix it. Ska. Hey, the world may be broken, but I've got a fucking trumpet.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just always kind of bothered me about this song, but it's rock and roll is never logical.
No.
But
it's about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. None of those topics are logical.
Anyway, the line about they took me to a room without a table has always cracked me up because I always thought, do you need to have a table in the room? And then I finally figured out, oh wait, that's probably a studio because it's saying blow your trumpet into here. And I played around as well as I was able, so I didn't trip over that table because, that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, that would have.
And it's interesting what you said about like how the way it ends, like, yeah, he's back on the street where we started, but this time the way he sings at the end, it's like, I do get hungry and I sure do want to go home. Where the first time he sings it, I may get hungry, but I don't want to go home. And I've always thought, yep, he's been through everything, he's had it, and he wants to go home.
Quiet
if
life.
There is still a home.
Or, maybe
somewhere.
Since he was famous at one point, maybe he'll have, some people who will want to help him out when they see who he is.
Yeah, it could be. Either that or, maybe John invested his money wisely while he was up on top. Or maybe he forgot to call John for financial help. And like, and John's like, yep, you didn't call me, Brian. Didn't call me. Now look at you. Yep.
Pathetic.
On the road with Roger and some Freddie sound-alike trying to make your money back. Yep.
I love how it's like three rockers and a dad. That's how Queen's been described. Because John Deacon is the dad of the group.
That makes sense.
Look at his sweaters. His sweaters are cute.
Well, someone had to be responsible.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Who needs you? Not Freddie, that's for sure. And when I read this song, I don't know why, but you remember that book, that book about donuts when I was a kid? Time for Donuts?
Who Needs Donuts?
Yeah, Who Needs Donuts? And that old lady saying, who needs donuts when you got love? I haven't thought about that book in forever.
We still have that book?
We might. I'm not sure. It might be down here. Anyway. All right. So, I've been in that situation before.
Where you need donuts?
No, in the song.
Oh.
You arrive at a restaurant for dinner, your date is late, and when they do show up, this is how they treat you? Only in my case, it was worse, because it was on Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Bye-bye. And after that point in the song, Freddie is really happy with his muchachos, as he says, relishing those vocal harmonies and shimmying along to that acoustic guitar. And it's a nice little gloating song like, I'm done with you. Bye-bye. No more wasting a bunch of time and effort. You're free! Like in Lord of the Rings, Smeagol is free! And if this song was based on a real story, can you imagine the dipshit who treated Freddie this way and then saw him rocket to fame? Oh, waiter, can we get a bowl of crow, please? Just mwah. Divine.
Well, this was written by John, who, of course, as we know, does not sing.
No. Silent but deadly.
I think Freddie was the one who sang all of John's songs.
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was a pleasant Spanish influence number. And now's a good time to say they could play any style, which is really evident on this side of the album.
Yeah.
They go through different styles, and they did them all well. And yeah, like you said, Freddie's been used, and he's been abused long enough by this girl, and he finally decides, yeah, I've had it. See ya. Mm-hmm. And good for him.
Fudge bye-bye.
Ooh, I like that.
Hey, it was the title of that the Portuguese fireman CD, remember?
His last one, yep.
Yeah, I miss that guy. The Portuguese fireman walked so that the Portuguese kids could run.
Ooh, I like that. He was kind of like the John the Baptist to their Jesus.
I like
He was
that.
João the Baptist.
João the Baptist.
Those of you non-Portuguese people out there have no idea what we're talking about.
But the Portuguese people who do, they're laughing their ass off. All right, next song. It's late, so I typed this in my notes. It's not that late. It's only 10 o'clock at night when I'm writing this. You're not my mom.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
You definitely needed sleep.
Yeah. Okay, this song tells the story well, but the instrumental around the 4-minute mark kind of causes it to drag. Because I don't know if we need it. It feels like filler before the plot kicks in, like a filler episode for television. But I like the story being told. These are two people seeing each other, and they have feelings for each other. They do. Freddie doesn't want to admit his feelings, and he's like, but it's not too late. It's not too late. But eventually, it does become too late, and they've screwed everything up, so it's all in a downward spiral from there. And you become invested in the story, but when everything goes to shit, you stop being invested because you kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. And because there's obviously going to be no hugs, no learning, what's the point of listening to the rest of the song? I don't know, but hey, if you like it, good for you. Just not me. And in my opinion, I've always said this, if you're gonna make a 6-minute song, you're already pushing it, so you gotta give me something to hold my attention. And this song almost had it, which is why it's so disappointing.
Yeah, for me, it's not their greatest song, and it's
No.
too long. And Brian wrote it as a 3-act play, hence the longness, I guess.
Okay, I can see this would be good for a play.
I mean, lyrically, I'm checked out. I think the music kind of saves it. Like, I've never skipped over this song when it comes on. I will listen to the whole thing.
I might skip it at like the 4-minute mark.
But yeah, the funny thing is, it's 6 minutes long, and hey, so was Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, 5:55, but that song just does not seem long at all.
No, they
And
pace
even
it really well.
even on Night at the Opera, there's a longer song called the Prophet Song, and that clocks into 8.5 minutes, and it is not boring at all. And this one, it just
See, the first 4 minutes, it has a nice steady enough pace to where it doesn't feel like 4 minutes have gone by. But when that instrumental kicks in, the last 2 minutes just drag.
And see, the thing is, this was released as a single, as an edited single, and when it was on the radio, it was just like, no, even cut down, it's just not working because it just sounds so obvious
And
that,
why make this?
yeah, there's stuff missing.
And why make this one the single? Why make
I
this
don't
one the
know.
single?
Maybe they thought there was some sort of bohemianness to it, where, hey, that was a long song and it had these different parts, and
Bohemian
this'll be
Rhapsody,
just-
it ain't
no, because that was just so
good.
different. It just stopped you in your tracks, where this is more pedestrian, where it's like, okay, can we move this thing along, please? Because it just,
It is
it
late and I
just-
want to go home.
yeah, it just isn't happening.
No. All right. Next song. My
Melancholy
Melancholy
Blues.
Blues. And I'd always
Which I think saves us. It saves its late, because you don't want to
Yeah.
go out on that song.
No, you don't. And I remember I always wanted to find out what song this was for so long because Google released a video for what would have been Freddie's 65th birthday had he been alive. This was like when I was in middle school. I think it was like 2012.
Yeah, because now he would
2011.
have been, what, 70 about a week or so ago, I think?
70 something.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be
75, maybe?
he'll be
75?
75 in like 2 years. He would have been 75 in like a couple of years.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, but he sings this song in the opening of the video, and you see him recording it in the studio, and I was like, the sound of it took me away. So now I know what it is. So if Freddie Mercury was a lounge singer, this would be his signature song. Seriously, this sounds like a ballad from the 1940s. Freddie's nursing a broken heart, but he doesn't want to talk about it. He just wants to get up and sing about it instead. And I think he's singing about something a lot of musicians and performers experience, and I felt this before. Something awful happens to you and suddenly you have to go out and entertain people. I remember when I was doing As You Like It at Yazzie, there was one night where Grandpa was doing really bad and we thought he was going to go, and I had to go on and do the show that night, even though I was just like, I had to go in the dressing room and cry for a little bit because it was the last place I wanted to be. So sometimes if you have those intense feelings, you can hide it if you're a good enough actor. The show must go on. Or there's the rare instance where sometimes you're doing a performance that allows for those emotions to come to the forefront, which can lead to a very vulnerable, raw performance, letting a huge amount of people get emotionally intimate with you like that. Not everybody is comfortable with it, but it can lead to some great stuff. But I can see Freddie singing this with a cigarette in one hand, with suit and bow tie, in front of a piano with a microphone stand, and he's got that smirk on his face of, you think this is just a song, but honey, you don't know the truth.
See, I've got him at the piano when he's doing this.
I can see that. Well, I can see that too, yeah. But in my mind, somebody's playing for him and he's just having fun with the audience. But this song reminds me of what Bob Fosse said in the Fosse Verdon series on FX. We take all the pain and turn it into one big gag.
Okay.
Yeah, only in this case it's not a gag. But it's
Okay.
like you turn it into something palatable for an audience to see, because if they saw the true thing, they wouldn't be able to cope with it or deal with it.
So this was written by Freddie, and again, no Queen harmonies. It's just Freddie, which
That
makes
sounds
total
so good.
no, it makes total sense because of the way the song's arranged.
And he's alone in this song too.
Yeah, and I think it captures that bar setting. It captures a bar getting ready to close.
Yes.
It has that mood perfectly.
It's like one for my baby and one more for the road.
Yeah, because I was just going to say a saloon song, as Frank would say, which one for my baby, one for the road, he called as the ultimate saloon
is.
song, where they're putting up the chairs, everyone's getting ready to close and go home. And Call Me Crazy,
Yeah.
Call Me Crazy, but I think Frank could have covered this. They would have
Yes.
probably have to transpose the
Yes,
the key.
absolutely. But he could have done it.
And I did not know this, but I always thought John was playing a stand-up bass But no, he's playing a standard electric one, which
Oh,
for
and
me
he makes it
is
sound like a
impressive.
stand-up.
Yeah, he does.
Cool.
But he always used to stand up in concert though when it came time to play this song.
Yeah.
And
He also used it for Who Wants to Live Forever for the Highlander movie.
huh.
Yeah, it's really good if you
Yeah.
listen to it. Yeah. Yeah, this makes sense to you.
Yeah, I think it's a nice way to end the album. I like, just kind of how it fades out with the instrumental. And it's just the piano, the bass, and the drums. So I guess Brian could have been at the piano if you want Freddie at the microphone doing his.
But also, that's like the traditional arrangement. Like, even when, what was it? They would have these Broadway concerts at the White House, or when we would see Audra McDonald at Tanglewood. It's always you have the piano, the bass, and the drums. And if you're really good musicians and a really good singer in the front, you don't need anything else. It's enough to carry it. All right, thank you for listening to another.
Wait
Wait a minute. What's this? A bonus track?
We're doing the bonus track.
All right, this is rare for us, but Dad
This
insisted
is
we do it.
very rare.
All right,
Would you like to go first or shall I?
I'll go first, but I just want
Okay.
to say, listeners, we don't do bonus tracks often, so if you like bonus tracks, then listen now, because we might not do another one with a bonus track for a while. All right, so bonus track.
This is almost like
You cut me off. Thanks.
oh, you're welcome. I was gonna say, having us talk about a bonus track is almost like finding a pill that makes your headache last just a little longer.
God. All right, so bonus track. We Will Rock You, 1991 remix, Ruined by Rick Rubin, and it does say ruined in the title.
Yes, it does.
My thoughts? Okay, he ruined it, but I don't hate it, if that makes any sense. Okay? I want to know the backstory of how the hell this all happened. Loyal listeners, I'm going to say something here. I cannot describe this song because I have no words for it. What this remix does to We Will Rock You, you have to listen to for yourself. I also can't make out what they're yelling, so I can't give any commentary on that, loyal listeners. However, one good thing I would say he added are the drums to keep the beat. Because I experienced that with other songs, because, the audience is keeping the beat with the...
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll realize that a percussive element could make a song better, at least sound different, until it's added later. So, Dad, I'm going to pose the question. Dad, what the fuck? Explain.
Yes,
America, explain. What do you mean is Arkansas?
Yes, this is the bonus track, and it's only available on the 1991 remaster.
Which was on Spotify.
Okay, I was going to clear that up. Yep. And nowhere else. No matter how many times News of the World has been remastered on CD since 1991, this track does not appear. It is on Spotify, though, so you can check it out there. And normally we never review bonus tracks because they're not a part of the regular album. But in this case, I had to make an exception. Now, what happened was when the Queen remasters first came out in 1991 to celebrate 20 years of Queen.
Wow.
Put this in perspective, next year it'll be 50 years.
Oh my God. They got to do something. They got to do a tribute.
Now, someone out there got the idea to ask various producers to pick a track or two and remix it any way that they wanted. So, like the albums that I have, which run from Sheer Heart Attack up to The Game, they each have an extra track or two that was remixed by some well-known producer. And for me, most of the bonus tracks just consist of making the drums sound louder, which just gets weary after a while. And then came along Rick Rubin, who at the time was known for producing the first Beastie Boys album, Run DMC, and Slayer.
Okay.
Among others. He went on to produce Johnny Cash and a whole other bunch of bands.
Did he do Johnny Cash's cover of Nine Inch Nails? The Nine
That's
Nails?
him.
Oh,
Yep.
Of her, yeah.
And he also was on the label Deaf American, but when the word deaf became a mainstream word, he held a funeral for the word deaf and changed the name of Def Jam Recordings to American Recordings.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm going to try and break down what this song sounds like, and it's still not going to be...
I got no goddamn clue.
Okay. It starts off with the stomp, stomp, clap that we're all used to hearing. Then this needle moves across the vinyl, scratching.
Yep.
Sirens come on in the background, and the stomp stomp clap is converted into scratch beats. Yes, folks, Queen as rappers, and it works. Then Brian's solo comes in and everything kind of sounds normal again. You're just getting the solo and yep, it hasn't been changed. Nothing's been done to it. But then these loud bottom sounding drums kick in and Rick throws in various Brian guitar solos from other songs. And the voice comes in that seems to be saying, hey-ya, over and over. And that's...
I hear an S in there somewhere. Slam, something, I don't know.
That could be. And then along comes the needle scratching again. And this goes on for 2 minutes. And to me, it's great. Ruben just establishes this groove and he just works it. And it's just...
Do we know what...
It's not boring at all.
Do we know what Roger and John and Brian thought of it?
Speaking for Roger and Brian and John, they all loved it. They thought it was the greatest thing ever. No, I have absolutely no idea.
I don't know what Freddie would have thought of it, that's for sure.
Now, Brian's solo from Stone Cold Crazy from the Sheer Heart Attack album comes in at the end. Then the voice comes in asking, what does it all mean?
Yeah.
And a distorted, unintelligible, Satan-like voice answers, and it just ends with those sirens. And I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm sure there are Queen fans out there who agree with the ruined by Rick Rubin tag, but not me. I love it. Because for me, he was the only one of those producers who had the stones not to treat his Queen song like sacred scripture. He just takes it apart and puts it back together his way. And I just think it's great.
Well, to quote Scrooge, you keep Christmas in your way and I'll keep it in mine.
But you don't keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me leave it alone then.
Yeah, let me leave it alone.
Yeah, you can leave it alone.
I'll leave it alone.
But yeah, if you get a chance, gang, it's on Spotify. Listen to it. Let us know what you think of the bonus track.
For better or for worse. All right, final thoughts.
Yes.
Overall, this album's fine. I think what always surprises me about Queen, and that kind of makes me sad, is that their songs that don't go on to be hits for decades are just meh. Because you'd expect guys who make such kick-ass singles to have albums where it's awesome song after awesome song, but that's not really the case in my opinion. Granted, there are 1 or 2 gems in here that weren't hits, but you really have to dig to find them. However, in reality, it's very rare to have awesome song after awesome song on one album.
Well, that's why you have best ofs or greatest hits.
I guess I don't have to be this harsh, but hey, this is my show and these are my feelings on this album. I'm a real person with real feelings. But hey, music is personal, and personally, some of these songs aren't for me. Okay.
Overall, I love this album. Listening to it again for the umpteenth time, I still learned a few new things about it that I had not noticed before.
Okay.
And also for me, it's a great comeback from the okayness of A Day at the Races, which was kind of like, hey, let's try and do a Night at the Opera again. And even the band admitted that was like, yeah, probably not one of our better albums. And I think with News of the World, they just tried to set out to, I guess, go back to their roots where it wasn't going to be layer upon layer of vocals. It was just going to be, for Queen anyway, let's get back to our basics the way that we started out.
Yeah, before the studio came in.
Because Day at the Races is a good album. It's not a great one. And the other thing about News of the World is critics and fans have noted a coldness about some of this album, which, I guess it depends on the mood, because sometimes I felt that, but not on this go-around. I highly recommend this album.
All right. And on that note, as always, thank you for listening to another episode of My Dad Listens to This. If you want to let us know what you thought about this video, please leave a comment below. If you liked it, great. And if you didn't like it, too bad. We're going to make more. So please like, subscribe, share, and all that jazz. I've already said how you can share the videos at this point, so I don't need to ramble on about it any further. All right. As always, thank you for listening again. And we'll be back at some point with another album to nitpick and gripe about. Dad, any final words for our loyal listeners?
Thank you and good night.
Thank you and good night.